Hello, everyone, and welcome to ATL Falcons UK. This week, Cal and I are joined by a couple of guests to celebrate another win. Finally, back on track. So the Falcons are sitting at 6-7 at the moment in time, and let's say it was an impressive win in its own right. So we'll get everyone's overviews and then break it down a little bit. So, Nico, what did you think of the game?
Yeah, I was very impressed by the team effort yesterday. Defense looked pretty good as over the last three games. Offense was competing great and was playing good. Yeah, Matt Ryan found receivers. The O-line worked pretty well. No sacks allowed yesterday, and I think both defense and offense worked well yesterday. The first time this year, both parts of the team showed up on the game field, and did they work?
Yeah, just what you touched on then about the O-line. Did I read right that the Panthers had the fourth most sacks going into the game week against us? And then obviously taking them for no sacks is pretty impressive considering our difficulties normally. So I'll take that. That's the probably main positive for me so far. Miles, do you want to go?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much echoing the same things. What's encouraging is it seems like they're figuring out the run game a little bit for me. Cordell Patterson and Mike Davis. Mike Davis has been, I think, kind of quiet this season, and it looks like he's starting to pick things up a little bit. Cordell Patterson has been, I'll just say, our best offensive player this season.
Yeah.
And just getting that running game going. Last week going over 100 yards rushing for him was huge. This week it seems like the offensive line picks its days when it wants to look great, and other days, when it's just the worst in football. Luckily, yesterday it seemed like it was the first one there. I don't think Matt got sacked once, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, they were running toward Jalen Mayfield's side a good bit, and it looked like he was holding his blocks up pretty well. There was a couple issues on the exchange. Matt Hennessy got an earful I saw on the sideline with there. And I'm not quite sure what they're doing, rotating him and Dahlman out there. I think they're just trying to figure out, maybe something more settled for the future going forward, because Hennessy's sort of had his ups and downs this season. But no, the running game is certainly encouraging, and the defense too. It seems like they're finding their footing a little bit too. Granted, it has been against some, meh opponents, so you can take it with a grain of salt. When you're playing against PJ Walker and an aging Cam Newton, and a team that just fired their offensive coordinator, you might not be facing the best team in football, but they did what they had to do and they got a win. So, you can't complain about that. So these next few games, I think, will be a huge benchmark for them going forward, because I think the status quo for this team all season is they can beat the bad teams. They're 50-50 against the okay teams, and they're not good against the good teams. So I think the 49ers are a good measuring stick, because I think they're kind of one of those 50-50 teams. So we'll see what happens, because after that, you've got a bad team in the Lions that they should beat, fingers crossed. And, I think you can beat a very struggling Saints team too. I mean, Buffalo, I'm not too optimistic about that, but hey, it's on the road. So who knows? They're great on the road this season.
That's right.
Absolutely. Right, next up, go on, Gina.
Well, I mean, I would really just echo what everybody else has said. I think that the offensive line's performance yesterday was probably the thing that I was most encouraged about. You would hope that as the team gets down the stretch, that unit would play with more cohesiveness, and that we would see a little bit more competence from them. I think that the center rotation thing, it's driving me crazy. I hate it. I wish that they would stop doing it. I think that that's probably holding them back a little bit from being as cohesive of a unit as they could be. But they did play like a much improved group yesterday, and the run blocking improvement has been huge. Defensively, I think that Dean Pease has that unit, playing really above their talent level in a lot of cases. So been really pleased with the development on that side of the ball too.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things that everybody seems to be talking about at the moment in time. We're sitting at 6-7, but I wouldn't like to insult anyone, but our roster's probably not as good as our record shows at the moment in time. So the fact that we're being able to produce admittedly on and off performances, but the fact that we're even being able to produce this standard in our first season under a new regime is pretty impressive, to be fair.
I think this is why Smith, he deserves all the credit in the world for me. I think he's brand new head coach, a new regime.
Yeah.
He's walked into a bit of a shit show when you think about it. No cap, no anything really. He's pulled out 6 wins. Even our schedule was on the easier side, but we're still winning games, and we won 4 games last year. We won 6 games so far, and we do have a good opportunity to win another 2 or 3. You never know what can happen in this spot.
I thought you were going to say we have a good opportunity to reach, and then I was
No, I'm not.
Because I don't want to say it.
Don't be saying that. Don't be saying that.
Not gone that far yet. If we beat the 49ers, then I think the fan base might start thinking a bit more. But
I agree.
6 wins, I don't think you can argue much about Smith. He makes mistakes, but one of the big things with me is the time management this year has been one of the best things I've seen.
Yeah. Compared
to the last few years, we're only newish fans, but Dan Quinn's time management was abysmal at times. But this year, I think Smith got it more or less spot on every game.
Definitely getting there, progressing as a coach is in the same way as the team are progressing as a unit.
Talking about progression and evolving of the team and the success we had, 6 games winning already, maybe 1 or 2 more we could add. But as I think of our wins, that's amazing for a new head coach first year with this thin roster of the team. What I'm worried about is we only got those wins on the road. So it's time for a win at home.
Hey, London counted as a home game.
London counted as home game. That's the funny part, yeah. It's still, annoying me to see no wins in our home stadium over the last year completely. But on the road, we are very successful. We play good games. I guess next week against the 49ers is in San Francisco too as well, right?
Yeah.
It's also on the road. Let's see. I guess 49ers are a team we could beat if we have a good day and we have less injuries and we have a good game plan. On the other side, I guess 49ers are a pretty good team and good in their division. That's another point. Even if they're not the perfect teams of their divisions or can't compete with Arizona or the LA Rams, I think they still are able to beat teams that are above 500. And that's something we didn't show this season. We only play good against teams that were lower than 500. Well, okay. Let's see. But I'm optimistic.
Just coming off the back of that a little bit, for you two that are over the proper side of the pond for NFL and not us, what's your opinion on why the Falcons can't get a run together at home? Do you reckon there's something wrong, or is it just one of those things and shit happens sometimes, basically?
We've seen the Falcons go through this at different points. There was a stretch in during Mike Smith's tenure where they couldn't seem to get a win at home. They had that the losing streak early in Dan Quinn's tenure where they were, they couldn't seem to get a win at home. I don't know what it is. I don't know if the atmosphere in Mercedes-Benz Stadium has anything to do with it. Like, I know when I was there for the Patriots game, which I wish that I had not been there for the Patriots game, it was mostly Patriots fans. And so I don't know if that's impacting them. It's hard to fill those seats and convince people to pay for those tickets when the on-field product has been so poor for the past few years. So it's something that I think that the home atmosphere may start to bounce back if the team starts playing better, but it's kind of catch-22 if that's also part of the reason that they're not playing as well at home.
Yeah, I'd echo that. I think, the solution to everything is winning. Any solution to that is a winning product. Fans want to go see something that they can get behind and rally behind. I do think one big thing, and it's take this as you want, and I'm not sure, but I think the PSL issue is also a big factor with Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We didn't have that with the Georgia Dome. It's become very commercialized there at Mercedes-Benz. So, again, it hasn't helped. The team hasn't been performing as well, of course. But
do you think that will ever change, that PSL thing? Or will it?
I hope it does. I really do. I think it's bad for the team. I think it's bad for just the fan experience. It's such a corporate feel when you walk in. And I love Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I think it's a great stadium, but I think when you walk in, to me at least, it feels like I'm walking into just like a corporate place, you know, like it's still a
Yeah.
stadium at the end of the day, of course, but like it doesn't have the feel of, I mean, it doesn't even have the feel of the Georgia Dome for me. It doesn't feel like, you know, you walk into Lambeau Field or you walk into Soldier Field, some of those great stadiums, you know, you walk in and you're like, okay, I see this is commercial. I see the businesses all over the place. I see the Mercedes-Benz logo and whatnot. And, you know, I get it. It's a business. Money talks, of course. It's $1 billion stadium. But at the end of the day, I do think it does feel like that for me.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the end of the world. It's not detrimental at this stage, but you just hope that it doesn't continue for too long, because ultimately the Falcons are never going to be able to put together a consistent season if you're not winning your home fixtures.
And I will say, not to cut you off, there,
right.
Manny, but I do think that I don't think there's much to them not being able to win at home as it is, you know, like I don't think that's a thing. I think they just haven't been able to win in those scenarios. Like I don't think it's like a product of the environment type thing. But I mean that's just my 2 cents on it.
Yeah.
Maybe they're making themselves too big pressure when they play at home, thinking, home again, we're struggling here. It's not it's not our ground. We're better outside when there are less home fans. So no, I don't know. I don't know what's the reason. What I'm sad about is when I started watching Falcons football, we still played in the Georgia Dome. And when I remember the first year I've watched the Falcons, the energy of the fans, of the whole building, it was amazing. The fans were loud and, okay, we play good football, but I miss this kind of vibe when I watch home games now. So less amazing vibes and fans screaming for us. Sad.
And I guess the Falcons did get in trouble for pumping sound in. So.
Noise gate.
Exactly.
It's an interesting approach. I suppose you've got to do what you can to make the most of it. But no, right, we'll get off the negativity. We won ultimately, so we shouldn't be bothered about that. It was just just a talking point. Right, go on, Carl. I'll let you start.
I'll just go back to the O-line. I think like everyone's slagged them off consistently this year. Let's be honest, and deservingly. But to not have any sacks against, or not concede any sacks against one of the best defensive, fourth, like Danny said, is fourth in sacks, and creating the space, like Jenna said, creating the space for the run game was something we've not seen. Is most of the time I've seen Patterson can get through anything, but especially Davis, he's sort of struggled. It's like the O-line have more struggled with him. But I think this week it was gaps, and it was great to see. I think that's the biggest positive, what everyone thinks it is from this week anyway. But another player I want to mention is on the defensive side is Darwin Hall. And I thought, what a game. Like, I can't have played most of the snaps, I think it was, coming into his own, but it was good to see him. Can't remember what round we picked him from, 4th or 5th, was it?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Finally getting his sort of time on the pitch, and performing, so another positive for me.
It was good to see you bring up the safety position, and man, when Eric Harris went down, that position has gotten so thin. And I'm glad because Isaiah Oliver looked so good early in the season. It was really a shame when he went down. But I'm glad because I want to see guys like Jalen Hawkins. I want to see Darren Hall out there because, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, Eric Harris and oh man, his name's defeating me. Number 21. Oh goodness!
I hate being put on the spot.
Yeah, I don't know why his name's defeating me right now. He used to play for the Patriots. We did a going deep segment on him this past week.
Yeah, Fabian Moreau.
Yeah.
Is Fabian Moreau number 22? I thought he was 22.
Maybe he is.
21. I don't know. Regardless, I mean that's what I'm saying. Like these guys are placeholders at the end of the day. You know, they're here on 1-year deals, and you know they're not here for the long term for this rebuild. You know, they're going to want to draft, and, you know, my fingers are crossed that they get Kyle Hamilton. Really big fan of him out of Notre Dame. But you know, we'll see. But, you know, as you said, the safety position has gotten so thin, and it's good to see those guys that we drafted and performing, you know, actually doing something out there, performing well.
Someone knows.
Harmon, yes. Harmon. Thank you.
Harmon.
His name is defeating me.
I was thinking of Harmon, but I wasn't sure as well.
Yes.
They want to say it.
Good, the fans are watching here and knowing the answers. Yeah, another player in the defense got in a very impressive game was Dante Fowler. 2 sacks, sadly
Finally.
with a calf injury out later. I hope it's not being. It will not be that bad. But he got a good game, 2 sacks. He's played very healthy. And, don't know how to say. He showed up. He showed up, and he got 2 big sacks, and also got a lot of big pressure moments on the quarterback. He helped our defense pretty good, and it would be a bad loss again if he's out for the next 1 or 2 games with calf.
It's almost like taking the reduced money deals kind of made him have to prove himself a little bit more and think, right, I'm not really being gifted a place in this roster. Sorry, 1 second, I'm going to bring Mark in. I'll try it. Hi, Mark, you're right. Just on a Fowler, if you've got any takes on him.
I would like to see it continue.
That's very, very passive. Okay.
Well, it's not healthy to hate on him, is it? And look, we all wanted more from him. We all continue to want more from him. I don't think it's. I don't think I don't think any of us are putting too much hope on it because he kind of feels really wildly inconsistent. But at the same time, he's doing better than last year. What else can we say? We keep coming back to we want to see improvement, and he is improving slightly. So let's just hope he can continue this form, because if he keeps getting better, then no one thought we were going to say this in this hunt for the playoff base that we're after.
We've not said it yet. We weren't going to say it all show.
Well, I said it. There you go. Mic drop.
But no, he's definitely he took steps this week without a doubt, and there has been glimmers of hope throughout the season. So you never know. He's one of them. He's not costing us a great deal anymore compared to what he was anyway. So you'll take it in those scenarios. Miles, we have 2 of you. This is very confusing. 1 second.
Yeah, sorry, I lost my signal there for a second.
What is going on here? Right.
Well, what is going on?
Oh, there we go. There we go.
No, but I think Danny's right with it is less money this year, and he knows he's got to prove himself. I think a lot of these players on 1-year deals, they know they're not going to be here forever, like Miles said, but we do have players that will be. Obviously, we've drafted, etc. But it's good to see some positivity throughout the fan base about him, because I think even I've slagged him off enough for last year. But you take the wins when you can, can't you? So everyone deserves credit. If they turn up, I'll give anyone credit. So yeah, I'll take it.
Well, whilst we're on the positive performances, then we've got to go to AJ Terrell because he's a Pro Bowler, and that's it. Factual. What's everyone think about him, considering but a lot of people criticised the pick when he got selected last time around?
My podcast co-host at Falcaholic, David Walker, mentioned last night. I think that it's clear that Terrell should be a Pro Bowler, but David said that he thinks that he's playing at an all-pro level. And I would not be surprised if he's at least second team all-pro this year. He's just been phenomenal.
Would
He's
be
been
deserved.
one rare, consistent bright spot on this team this season.
What I'm worried about is that he will not get enough votes from the football fans to reach the Pro Bowl. He's playing a phenomenal season. Mainly on his possession, he's, I guess, the best in the league right now from his stats. We got an interception yesterday, nearly 2 picks. He's playing fantastic year, fantastic football game as well again. And I'm worried about the fans will not graduate this because we're just the Falcons.
This is the thing. Some players have a global appeal, don't they? Whereas not many Falcons players tend to have much of a global appeal for unspeakable reasons, let's call it that. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's a bit of a popularity vote, so that'd be the only thing that would concern me. However, if people are looking at the statistics alone, then it's no debate whatsoever.
And I'm really, I'm really making jokes with my football friends here because of all the people that making jokes 3 or 4 years ago when we picked him in the draft. Like, oh, he failed in the last game and he's bad. He's the next clown with the Falcons. Yeah, I didn't tweet anything about this pick, but I was thinking like, wow, okay, why? He showed a very, very good college career. And I guess he will be very important for us in a few years. And yeah, he is.
Yeah, absolutely. Without a doubt.
That criticism only came because of that one game. And I think that's why even in our own fan base, there was skepticism because it was that one game. And I know it was a big game. I get it, but I don't think it's I don't think any of us should be surprised that he's grown. And he's definitely 100% grown under the system that Dean Pease has seemed to implement.
Yeah.
Now, on the point that he should be in the Pro Bowl, 100% he should be. I just think that teams that aren't necessarily what you'd class as kind of the popular teams at the time, the big teams at the time, all of the lesser teams have good, lesser. I don't want to say lesser. The teams with the not so good ratios have good players, right?
Yeah.
And they don't reach the Pro Bowl even if they have a good season, right? So I think that the more he can only do what he can do. I would be disappointed not to see him there. I also wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't get selected. But considering his stats on this year, he should be looking at this as a huge step forward in his career because, I've not seen a second-year corner play this well in a long time. And good corners are gold dust. So, regardless of that, he just needs to keep doing what he's doing. Yes, okay, we shouldn't be surprised if he doesn't get selected, but us as fans, all we can keep doing is keep retweeting and keep doing everything we can to get him there because he does deserve to be there.
Yeah, no doubt.
Would be deserved. Another defensive player stepped up yesterday was Michael Walker with his pick 6 over 66 yards. Very impressive. I guess in this situation, he was reading Cam Newton perfectly.
Yeah. I think everyone was reading Cam Newton perfectly yesterday.
Read yesterday.
Miles, I noticed that your tweets were very anti-Cam last night.
That's the thing. Everyone thinks I'm so anti-Cam Newton. I'm anti whoever's playing the Falcons.
Yeah,
but
sure.
I mean, look, my thing with Cam Newton, if you're going to talk a big game, back it up. That's all I'm saying. If you're going to talk a big game, he's an easy target because if a person like that talks so much, I mean, you got to back it up. If you back it up, then you'll shut me up. I can't say anything. But it's just an easy target. If you're getting benched for PJ Walker, then come on, it's oh,
this was something.
Other quarterbacks. No, because Tom Brady didn't do this. Sorry.
The man's a fraud. I've been saying it for years. The man is a fraud. He's had maybe 1.5 good seasons. So you can't convince me otherwise. I
think the biggest thing with Cam too is he's falling apart. I mean, just his body. I mean, the way he plays the game, his body just has not been the same for the last 4 years. And when you play the game that way, you got to accept the consequences that are going to come with it. He's 6'5", 240, can run like a deer. You're going to take some hits and. You're fair game when you do that, so it's going to take its toll.
Just going to butt in because Jenna needs to leave. She's got a meeting, so thanks for coming on, and we'll definitely get you on when in our playoff run. I think we'll get you on again. Just had to mention.
You ruined it.
Yeah, Mark's already said it.
Yeah, you can blame me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Bye.
What I didn't understand yesterday was this moment Cam was benched for PJ Walker. Why? Because
Matt Rule has made some very questionable decisions.
it was okay for us. PJ Walker played a bad drive, and we were able to put more points on the board before half. It was good for us, but I was really surprised sitting on the couch like, okay, what?
I think I do have a thought on that. It kind of, I don't know. I have to agree with Miles is that I think Matt Rule's making some really questionable decisions, and I understand. You and I'll be the first one to hold my hand up. Like I was big on Donald. I always have been, and now he's got the starting spot. After the first couple of games, he's really fizzled out. I don't know if that was because of injury or actually just can't cut it as a QB1. But at the same time, Carolina had to go, well, look, PJ Walker is not going to be the answer for the rest of the season. Yeah. So let's take a punt on Cam. I get it. I suppose what I don't get is he went to New England last year. Obviously, like I almost kind of go, did Bill just do it to troll us? Like, because like the best coach, arguably in NFL history, sat there and looked everybody in the eye last year and went, no, Cam's brilliant. He's amazing. He's great to work with. And you just go, what are you seeing that nobody else is seeing? Because he still hasn't been. But like just this kind of constant playing him and then benching him, playing him and then benching him, and it's like Matt Rule's at the point where he's trolling his own quarterback now. Like he's just going, I don't know, bring him off, put somebody else on.
How is the team able to trust his head coach if he's doing shit like this?
I think one of the funniest things, I think when they re-signed him, I think his contract came out, and I think like they're still paying him from last time, then paying him again.
Yeah.
And he's 5 replacements in the time in the middle, so yeah.
They're still paying Teddy some money as well.
Yeah. Paying about 4 quarterbacks when they were all shocking.
That's madness.
Right, next one. I've got to talk about CP again. I know we cover him every week, but it's just another week, another performance. Is he? Is it 5 and 5 now? 5 rushing and 5 running and 5 catches. It's fucking ridiculous.
First
5.
Let the man throw the ball. Let him throw the ball.
I'd actually, honestly, why not? Literally, there's no way he can't do it. There's no way.
Trusted Russell Gage to do it. Let's let Cordell Patterson.
Yeah, we played Wildcat before.
Exactly.
The only thing I want now, I want a punt return. Like I want a kickoff return because that's what it's weird because that's the main reason we sort of brought him in. Like that's what us as fans thought, that we brought him in because our kick return was absolutely abysmal for the last couple of years.
Yeah,
and he still performed on that bit, but he's outperformed his everything. You can't say a bad word against him because I think some guy in our chat already bought a jumper of him already. I think I'll probably just get a jersey. If he signs next year, I'm buying a jersey.
I've ordered a jersey.
I think if he signs, you got one.
After the Saints game, I bought it directly. Sadly, it's just normal print. I want to have a vapor. I need to take care of it. But they made a mistake. I ordered in the Falcons fan shop in the US, and they forgot to print the ATL above the number here.
No, shocking.
Oh no.
Yes,
but Jesus.
I like it, but I like it too much. I don't want to send it back and want my money back. I got it now, and I will wear it every time the Falcons play in white.
But I think it's one of them, isn't it? Right? We all assumed he was special teams, blah blah blah.
Gadget player.
And I'm not even sure Coach Smith really kind of had in his mind what he's got out of him. I might be wrong, but I mean, I was going to like my mates who support teams of who he's been on before, and he was like, yeah, well, he's a good solid player, blah blah blah, but he probably won't be, he won't be just amazing. Right. And I was kind of like, oh, okay, great. He's a bit player. And I think in this season, I mean, kind of away from the input that he's had on the field, is just the positivity about him, the love for the city about him, like the man himself to like is come out as kind of almost like, even if he doesn't stay next season, which I'm not even entertaining the thought of yet, but even if he doesn't, like the impact he had on this year for us again, like I say, to be at the record we're at right now. I won't say it again, but at the record we're at right now, and a lot of games to be down because of his input. That's you can't ask for more than that. That's that's just, it's special. The guy's special.
Yeah. It has just been very bizarre, but I'm going to keep quiet because the season's not over yet, and he's going to win us a Super Bowl. So
I think the most exciting thing with this season is like I think Mark, is this your 4th season? I think it is
His 10th,
4th one coming into.
So I started the season after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so that's 4. So me and Danny are 3. So we've never even seen a winning season, and I don't think we'll end up on the winning season, but it's how many times, if you said to every Falcons fan, I'm not saying we're going to get in the playoffs at all, I'm saying what is it now, 13th of December, if you said that to every Falcons fan, we have a chance of the playoffs of the 13th of December, everyone would have said yeah. It makes
especially without Calvin Ridley. We didn't even know that was
especially
exactly.
Yeah. So we've got 4 games left, and it's exciting. I was excited even when we was out the playoffs. I just love football. I always want my team to win. I never want us to lose ever. Most part of this thing ever. But this year,
if you were to tell me this team was 6-7 and a playoff in the mix for a playoffs, and I asked you what the receivers looked like, and you told me Russell Gage was your number 1, Olamide Zaccheaus was number 2, Tajay Sharp was number 3, and Kyle Pitts has only scored 1 touchdown all season, I would have laughed at your face.
Yeah.
And I would say that Matt Ryan is the best player in football, and I would say Arthur Smith is coach of the year.
With that, exactly. It really is such a bizarre scenario to be put in, because on paper we shouldn't be performing anywhere near.
We should be winless, in my opinion.
Exactly.
There's no talent.
This is so brutal. I hope nobody's watching.
I'm sorry, it is. I mean, it's one of the least talented teams I've ever seen win 6 games.
It is.
And it's crazy. I think someone said we're at the 10th. We're the 10th pick at the moment, and you win next week. Is it 9th? Could be the 9th. So, but we win next. Say we won next week, and you go back to like the 19th. Like the NFC this year is ridiculously close. I think I said the week. I was like, it's quite poor, but I was like, is it not poor?
Very top
a lot more competitive than you think, because teams.
Yeah, I mean, that's the same as the AFC as well. Everyone's beating everybody.
Yeah, which is
good. Yeah, that's right.
You can't have a cheeky little bet on the NFL now. It's absolutely pointless. You might as well take that £5 and set it on fire in front of your face, because you can't predict anything. And
the Jaguars beat the Bills, guys. Think about that.
I can't think about that. But that's why we have a chance. That's why we're still in contention, because even though we've not performed against the top teams yet, we're also much earlier in the season at those stages. So there's no reason that we can't do it now and see where it takes us.
I think everyone knows next week will be.
Sorry,
it's the biggest test I think so far. I know we've played the Bucks, etc., but this is where this is a team who are improving. Like, they got their injuries back, and they are improving sort of week in, week out for me. And so I think this is a team sort of in form. And if we do give them a game, or if we go, the good thing is it's away from home. That's the positive for me. I'm taking that as a positive, because you never know. So if you come out of a win and you got the Lions next,
maybe freebie win streak. Yeah. What I want to see next week, it's not important to win for me. It would be great if we can compete with the 49ers in the game. And even if it's a 20-point game on both sides and we lose by 2, I would be happy. I would take it, because it shows me that the team got spirit.
Yeah.
And with this depth of roster, we are playing good football. and would be good to see the offense and the defense both playing the game like we did yesterday and showing up and less
I
mistakes.
Think the 49ers are a funny outfit. And I think they kind of continue to be a funny outfit. And I do still question. I mean, well, I don't question the move for it because I still think Trey Lance is going to be unbelievable. But the quarterback situation I still find quite odd. Or maybe they're just being sensible and sitting him behind Jimmy G. I don't know. Jimmy G can be extremely underwhelming at times, and I think it's fair for us to hope for an underwhelming Jimmy G performance this weekend. But at the same time, you know, if we can, like Nico said, keep the game close, and yeah, right, okay, it would be great to go into the next game with some momentum, 100%. But also, like that game against the Lions for me is I just want everyone to be healthy, because if we can, because that's the trajectory we want to be on. Like Bills,
a while off maybe,
but you know, like and the people down the road that I won't talk about just yet, you know, like they you know, the Saints are there for the taking. So you know, I 2 wins out of the next 4 games. Like I'm confident, and I didn't really think I'd say that for this point in the season.
I want we all want the scenario. Well, I'd love, everyone wants to win the 4 games, but you had a scenario going into the last game.
No,
I know what you're going to say. Yeah, I know what you're going to say.
I think that's where, obviously, we spoke a bit about the stadium. If that came to it, you'd really hope people would just turn up for that game, and it'd be.
I'd turn up to that game. If we're in playoff contention when we play the Saints, we will fly out.
But guys, we play at home.
That's why I'm saying I'm pretty sure the fans would have to turn up if we had that chance. Even if we didn't have the chance, you're thinking last game of the season. If they'll say they had the chance to and we didn't, but
I know, but
them doing it as well.
If both teams are in a position where the winner takes that spot.
Ugh.
Exactly.
How you are tapping into every nerve that I've got, because I don't even think I could handle going to the Bend to watch that, just in case the worst were to happen, because I would feel, I can't even think about it.
Myself into oblivion. I don't think I'd come home.
Welcome to Atlanta.
Well, another point from the game I would like to tell you or tell the fans outside is we got the straight 100-yard rushing game. So we were able to play on the ground and moving the sticks. All 3 running backs got likely 30, 40, 50 yards. Patterson the best one. Fantastic to see this, because on the other hand, with less receivers, Matt statistics throwing the ball are not that fantastic. So the ground game is clearly helping us closing games and winning games right now.
But Nico, do you not think that we have this opinion because we've had to watch Matt constantly dig us out of holes by throwing 50, 60 times a game for 2-3 years, because we've had no running game? Like, should we feel blessed by it, or actually are we kind of going, holy shit, we can run the ball now? Do you know what I mean? I don't know, it just feels like it is great and it's progress, but I'm also sitting here going, we should have been doing that originally, you know?
I kind of understand what you want to tell me. My critique on Matt Ryan is not based on that. I don't like his season and want to criticize him as quarterback. I'm a big Matt Ryan fan.
I know. But my point was more about the running game. Like we're almost now shocked that we've got one.
That's right. Yeah.
Brand new
But you can
information
clearly
to
see
us.
it also depends on Cordell Patterson. In the offense scheme, he's moved out of the wide receiver possession and is definitely playing the most snaps as running back right now for us. And the success on the running game coming with him playing this possession now, and also it was successful on the passing game, setting up as a wide receiver in a flex possession. I don't know. Yeah. So he's the key of the offense. You can clearly see that.
It's also the O-line, like I mentioned the O-line, well, we mentioned it quite a bit, but they've got to create the gaps, and they did yesterday, and that was the first time in many times where I said Patterson can run through brick walls, he's fine, but with the other running backs, when Ollison came on, I think his first 3 runs were like over 30 yards or something, which is, I know we ended up with a fucking fumble, but we won in the end, so it was all right.
We got this one
he has
moment
got
in the
the
game.
power, Ollison, and I do like him as a player, and I can see him being used sort of more and more in them places. But that's the O-line has got to do their job to create the gaps as well.
Yeah,
you're right.
What do we need to do to get Kyle more involved in? Is it? What is it?
Go on, Miles.
Getting another
story.
I need somebody to rationalize it, or is there no rationale and we're just not doing it?
If we had another good wide receiver like Kevin Ridley on the field, I guess Kyle Pitts would have a lot more room to run and play.
I think there's a perfect storm of things going on when it comes to Kyle Pitts. We do a lot of, again, as you guys have said before on the show, we do a lot of film study with the Falcons post game, and I speak with Harry Douglas, one of their former receivers, a good bit about this. And there's a lot of scenarios where I'm just not aware when I watch during the game, and when they roll back the film, you kind of see it. There's a lot of scenarios where Pitts is running the wrong route, and there's scenarios where, again, there's also scenarios where he's open. So it's mix and matching, but there's a lot of scenarios where it just looks like he's still learning. He's still a rookie, and he's still trying to figure some things out. He doesn't look like he's running fully comfortable yet. Like, it looks like he's like, I think this is where I'm supposed to be, and I'm going right there.
Okay.
It doesn't look like he doesn't look like he's playing like he's complete. Like, it looks like he's thinking a lot when he's doing his thing. And again, he's a rookie, so it's something you come to expect. But I do think that there's also a lot of what you guys are saying too. I think there's a lot of effective double teams because he's the most talented offensive. Cordell Patterson's been the best, but I think Pitts is the most talented offensive weapon you have on that team. So naturally, he's going to see those double teams when you're 6'5" and can run a 4.3 40. And you have situations like that. And again, there's also the fact of there are a few times where Matt Ryan just doesn't quite trust him yet. And because when I watch it, I'm just like, man, just throw it up, let him go get it. Let him just try to beat those double teams because I think he can. He's shown that ability in college. So I think there's a level there, where Matt just isn't quite sure if he's ready to test it to him yet. But I think that'll come in time. And I think we might not see it this season, but I think we'll really start to see it next year as he gets more comfortable.
Yeah.
So Miles, do you see in terms of the draft? And I know I'm jumping before. I'm just interested on takes here.
Sure.
Do you see in terms of the draft, us going out for a wide receiver in the draft, or is that more of a free agency thing?
I think they should.
Gage's contract's up, isn't it?
I'm not quite sure about Gage's contract, but I mean, the natural thing is Gage is number 3 and number 2 at best. He's not a number 1 guy, and he has been a number 1 guy.
No.
But they definitely do need receivers. This is a very and I will say one disappointment this year for me has been Frank Darby. I've been waiting to kind of see him come out onto the field. And he really hasn't. He had a really bad penalty this last game on special teams. But I've been waiting to see him come on. He hasn't really done anything. But I do expect them to address wide receiver in the draft. I think it should be late. I would say, 4th round at the highest. I wouldn't draft 1 through 3. I think it should be all defense. Maybe an offensive lineman if you want. But no, I think they should. A guy that I really like, who I could see falling actually. It's a guy out of Georgia, George Pickens. He's 6'5", giant receiver, can spread the field out. He's really fast, and he might fall due to his injury history. He missed this entire season. He just played the last game, but I think he could be a great pick. But no, as far as addressing it, it needs to be addressed because it's definitely a problem. And you don't even know if Ridley's going to be back. You don't know what his situation is.
Yeah.
I don't know what the deal is. It's been kept very hush hush. We've been trying to figure it out on our end, but I wish him the best with what he's dealing with. But there's no guarantee of what his situation is right now. So you got to address it if he doesn't come back.
Definitely. Just going back to
Totally agree with you.
before we wrap up the show. Going back to Pitts, 770 yards in his first season. He's still got 4 games to go. I know he's only got 1 touchdown, but I don't think it's hardly been targeted in the end zone, to be fair. But if he's on route to hit 1,000, and you can't really ask.
He's very quietly had a pretty good rookie year.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And it's
And he's
Miles
pulled
a
us
lot of times it's been
down.
opens as well.
Yeah.
So if he hits 1,000, then, or even if he don't hit 1,000,
He seems to be the one that pulls us out of third down jams quite a lot.
Very much so.
Yeah,
Which
when
is
you can do that and you're 2 foot taller than everyone else. It's probably
which is
not
why
that
I'm just
bad.
like, try, give him, try. And, like Miles said, just air it out. Just let him go get it. It's frustrating.
Yeah, would be good if he reached 1,000, but in the double coverage, will be hard over the last games with good defense.
He'll pull out 200 against the Lions. Don't worry about that.
Let's hope for this one. There's another moment in the game I would like to mention. Sorry,
Nico, 1 second. Miles, if you've got to jump, we'll let you jump now, just so you don't
head out, guys.
Of course, Miles.
We'll catch you again soon, mate.
All right, see you, fellas.
Thanks,
Yeah.
mate.
Good one. See ya. Yeah, sorry. It was third or fourth quarter, and it was Ollison running for first down over 11 yards. And then he was running again for 6 or 7 yards, and then again for 4 yards, and then he was also running a fourth time again. So we were running 4 times back-to-back plays with Ollison, and we were successful. I was thinking like, wow. In German we call it Ansage. That's the Ansage. So we're making business decisions here. We're showing the Panthers, guys, watch out. We will run, or we can run.
Well,
it seems to be Ollison gets utilized more in the late quarters, and I do wonder whether it's kind of like put someone new in, not necessarily for fresh legs, but more just for it's another person that they have to figure out, sort of thing. Like I say, I mean, I've been relatively high on Ollison for a couple of years, and when he hit the practice squad at the beginning of the season, I was kind of like, like, how isn't he like RB2 at least? But it seems like he's getting a chance, and I know everyone says we need to, and they're probably right. We probably do need to address running back in the draft, but again, it's going to have to come in later rounds. How good of a are you going to get an RB1 in like round 6? I don't know.
No, not really.
I think a lot of it also depends what happens with Patterson, doesn't it? I think this year. I don't. If we don't want to speak about him leaving, but I think for this year, because I think in the draft, I think first round you go in defensive. There's no question about it. You go defensive.
That's right.
If second round, depending who's there, it could be another defensive play. And I do feel like we'll take a wide receiver like Miles and Matt was chatting about, but there is obviously it's like another O-line because let's be honest, there's going to be another O-line coming in without a doubt.
We desperately need an edge.
Yeah. Was it 7? I just checked obviously the bottom of the sacks, like again, which usual shit.
Yeah,
but I think 17, and I think the top was like 45. I'm not expected to be at 45, but even getting
I know, but that team that had 45 probably had 15 against us.
Not wrong. Not wrong.
Well, I would like to see.
Danny, Cal, we've talked about this before, right? So, like, I want to see what Arthur and Terry can do with a clean slate, right? Yeah. So, like, they did what they could, and I think as much as like everybody, and I mean everybody, has all gone, we should sign this free agent. We should. This person's hitting free agency. This person's hitting, and We haven't done anything. We haven't done any business. And I think, like, you can say what you like about the last draft class. Like, I know it was their first, but again, like, you could kind of got to remember, like, it's his first job as well, right? So there's going to be a couple of mistakes. It's never really a Falcons draft without some busts, right? So, but I just want to see what they can do with a couple of years of their own drafts, picking their own people, and then seeing what's happening. Do you know what I mean? Because I think that they've been relatively sensible. And of course, us as NFL fans, we don't like sensible. We like off the cuff and mental. But I was talking to a Green Bay fan earlier on, right? Who's a good pal of mine. And one of the one Packer that they're all raging about on defense is Devondre Campbell, who we let go for niche because we'd paid Vic Beasley and Desmond Trufant.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's like the defensive side. I mean, we can all agree is 100% getting better. I mean, it's not amazing, but it's 100% getting better. And I couldn't even before this season. I was kind of like, well, we don't do interceptions. we don't do pick sixes. We don't do that. You don't pick the Falcons defense in fantasy. Of course you don't, because you're going to end up losing points. But it's definitely the draft is getting really, really interesting. And I suppose the always the trouble is we're, like I say, Carl, we're at 9th pick now. You know, we're going to go on a playoff. Well, yeah, we're going to go off on a playoff run. Fuck it, I said it. So we're going to go on a playoff run. You know, again, it's a hard one because, like, come the 2023 draft, you know, the romantic in me goes, I want Bryce Young. So how do we do that?
Yeah, a lot of big problems will come.
I do think, like, I think someone said it in our chat the other day. It's like, if our schedule's harder next year. Like, I've looked at it today, and it's fucking hell. It does look hard. But this is still with, I think, obviously the cap's going up an extra 25 mil, and I think we'll create a bit more room with Ryan anyway, which is obviously good. But even after that, even if we have like a poorer season next year, I won't want, like, fans might overreact like, oh, we're gone backwards. It's like, you've got to look at the team, you've got to look at the schedule still. You still see improvements, but like Mark said, you've got to give them a clean slate, as in a lot more cap. You can't just go, you have a poor second year. So obviously if you end up north of 17, you'd be like, yeah, get the fuck out of the building. But if you start getting a few wins, you're seeing improvements, but you've got to give them the money as well. So
yeah, but if they're not in 17 next year, that means we can get Bryce Young.
No, I can't. I'm not doing it. I couldn't do a Norton 17 season. No chance. Fucking no.
No, I know. I'm just being.
But one thing I want to mention before we wrap it up the next minute or so is any fans who don't want to reach the playoffs because of the draft position, or we might get battered in the playoff game.
They need putting down
yourself, because who wouldn't want to reach the playoffs? I don't care if we end up the hype. I've never seen us in the playoffs. I've never seen a winning season. I get buzz off a Sunday game. Imagine that first game or the second week in January we play the Packers or the Bucks. I'll be buzzing.
Playoff football is different. Playoff football is different. You know, and it's the same in the NBA, right? Your regular season games are one kind of football. Playoff games are different, and anything can happen. Anything, you know, and it's one of them, like, you just never know. And don't get me wrong, right? I'm not going to be Danny. I'm not going to say we're going to the Super Bowl. But at the same time, you know, like last year, right? Green Bay were like smashing everybody out the park, and then rolled over against the Bucks. Like couldn't do anything. And it's just kind of like
Green Bay meltdown.
Well, they did, and they let that smug prick win another ring. So, like, you know, we have to compartmentalize it, right? We don't know how far we might get, right? But regardless, if we end up in the playoffs, like Miles said earlier on, with the deficiency in talent that we've got, right, then just imagine what it's going to be like in a couple of years when we can do some deals, when we can pay the right people and, like have an O-line. Like we've got a running game now. And 2 years ago, I was like, we're never going to have a running game. We've got a running game, right?
Yep.
Now we've got new coach, new GM, and we've got like there's so many things again to be excited about, right? So like in 2 years' time, we might have an O-line, we might have we might have fucking top 10 defense, which I think we've only had once in like 20 years. Like it's the little things like that where we go, sooner or later we're going to get back to where we should be.
Yeah, I don't even think we're a million miles away. Like I'm satisfied enough to see that, like we've been saying, this progress would get in there. Whether it takes another 2, 3, 4 drafts, but if we can do this with our current roster, then add a few more actual players into the mix, and like Cal said, probably work on a few vets in the off season because we're going to need them at some point. Then.
Yeah, in 2 years' time, we're still potentially going to have a team full of rookies. A team still on rookie deals, right?
Could be possible. I would be happy anyway when we close the season with another win in the first season of F.S. Smith with this thin roster. Like I said once, it would be a great achievement if we make the playoffs, and it seems possible because a lot of other teams are choking that should not be choking. And we're in a good possession right now for the playoff hunt. If we could make it, I would be happy. Give it a shit about the draft possession. Because it's good for the team, it's good for the players, it's good for the coach, for the publicity as well, for our fans watching the Falcons play. Maybe we'll get more fans into the stadium again, and then next year we can. Build our team better in any way. So I guess the draft possession. Look, TJ Watt was picked how late in the first round? We also can get a TJ Watt late. No doubt about it. So I don't worry about this. And I would take the season as it is right now as a success already.
Oh, God,
yeah, 100%. I mean, we're 2 wins better than last season already.
Yeah.
And people, do you remember we sat on this and people were going, "Give Raheem Morris the job"? Do you remember that?
I do.
Yeah.
I do very much so. In fact, these people
are in charge of heavy equipment. I wouldn't trust them with soft fruit.
I think Morris did a good job last year. It was okay.
We'll agree to disagree.
Okay, all right. It's okay. I'm happy where we are right now. A lot of people started criticizing the F.S. Smith and the games and how he's playing the game. Well, I don't understand why. Just why.
It's bomb.
People are impatient, right? and that's the same with any sports team. I think in American football it's a little bit different, right? And I think we don't. I think it's potentially different for us who kind of big national sports, soccer and stuff like that. I mean, realistically, half these NFL teams have got more fans than Man U. Regardless. So it is different, and I get the frustration sometimes. I don't get the stupidity that goes along with the frustration sometimes, but that might just be that's maybe a me thing. But like you said, like we've all said, we're progressing. That's all we asked for at the beginning of the season. And we could be on the verge of something really, really positive or more positive than we've already got.
Yeah.
I think, sometimes the people who criticize, it's just that they want us to be 17-0. Yeah.
Don't know. I got one final question for this round, if it's okay to ask.
Yeah.
Talking about evolving of the team and the next drafts as well. Last week, the Falcons Buccaneers game was sent out on the national television in Germany on a small TV show. But we're allowed to show 2 games every week in free TV here. And they took Bucks Falcons. And one of the moderators really said, and normally I guess he's very, very good one, but in this case he said, Matt Ryan, maybe he has one more year, but that's it then. And I was very angry about this stupid sentence. But yeah, like I said, talking about evolving of the team, for me it would be necessary to have Matt Ryan for the next 4 years, and I would love to have him for the next 4 years, and I guess he could play longer. And now my question is for you, do you agree with this or not?
Go on, Mark, you start on that one.
Okay, so depending on the deal, yes, would he be QB1 in 2 years' time for me? Well, I mean, in my mind, I always thought we need to have his replacement in 2 seasons, potentially for the first season sitting behind him, a little bit like what Trey Lance has done with Jimmy G. Apart from Jimmy G is nowhere near as good a quarterback as Matt Ryan. I think there's a couple of things to add here. Is that Matt Ryan's a better quarterback in my view than the Falcons have been as a team for quite some time. And as quarterbacks get older, they kind of naturally deteriorate, I guess, a little bit. I don't think there's, I think Matt Ryan is better at 30. How old is he? 36?
36, he would turn 37. 36. And
so
you see a lot of good quarterbacks playing longer than 40.
I think he's better at 36 than Big Ben was at 36.
Yes.
No doubt about this.
But Big Ben's 40 odd and he's still a QB1. So like my point is that at his age, I think because the Falcons haven't necessarily been massively successful for the past couple of years, they've automatically gone, well, Matt Ryan's not a good quarterback. And I think that's incorrect in my view. I think that in 2 years' time, I really want to be in a position where we know we've got a succession. I don't want to be in a position where we just go, thanks for your service, Matt. Here's a new QB1. Yeah, I don't want to be in that position. Let's talk about people
like Fitzmagic with the Dolphins.
Say again.
I said like Fitzmagic with the Dolphins.
Well, yeah, a little bit, but I think Matt Ryan is a bit of a better example to work from than Fitzmagic. Although I do,
I was also thinking of.
But I think he's a better mentor. He's always kind of out like. But then again, if it gets to the end and they just go, look, thank you again, thank you for your service. But I don't know. I just that to me doesn't really make sense. Like to kind of invest the next 2 years into Matt Ryan and then go, okay, bye, dude. Get a young kid in and then start. It just, I don't think that really works in my head. I think Arthur Smith is actually kind of much more in tune with an older, more experienced QB. So to answer your question, would I like to see him in Atlanta for the next 4 years? Yes. But like half of that would probably be for me as a QB2 or like kind of bringing through the next start or next start.
Like a phasing out process.
100%. And that to me kind of feels not just right for us to make sure that we've got like a young blooded quarterback coming through, but also for him because it would feel wrong. It would hurt me to see Matt Ryan in another team's jersey.
It would.
I'm being completely honest. It would really, it would break my heart.
Okay, right. Just a quick hypothetical, and then we do actually have to call it because I'm going to. So, Matt Ryan has the opportunity for his very last season to go to a Super Bowl contender. Do you want to watch him win the Super Bowl with another team? If it's his last season, literally his last season.
As long as it's not a divisional
or the Patriots
or the Patriots, then yes.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll take that. So
you're on mute, Cal.
But I was so angry about
I think
this
they named
stupid
about
sentence.
4 or 5 different teams. I was like, Green Bay, nah. 49ers, no, not with Shanahan there. Definitely a few teams I would have wanted him.
Nah, just the divisionals and the Pats for me. Like, I just, I think they do deserve it, and I would be there cheering them on if that were the case.
Yeah.
Would be deserved for him. Yeah, would be deserved. Yeah, thank you for answering my question.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up just because, well,
yeah,
we can talk all night.
we can carry on forever if not. I'm
was
going to need a
expanding.
pint if we carry on for too much longer. Right. Thank you all for coming on. Of course, thank you to everyone that watched. And if you have watched on YouTube, please subscribe because we've not gone up for so long. It's almost bad streaming it on Twitter and Facebook because no one goes over to YouTube anymore. It's fucking ripping us apart. So yeah, any subscriptions on there are a bonus. We will be back next week, hopefully following another win, Touchwood.
Late kickoff, innit?
Oh shit, yeah.
Thank you very much for having me here.
That's all right. Thank you for coming on as always.
That's all right.
And hopefully we'll speak to you both shortly. So see you soon, guys. Thank you.
Take care, gents. See you later.